Hello, grade 12 students. This is Ms. Charushila, one of the college counselors from the College Counseling Office. I'm here to remind you about a very interesting initiative we had shared with you in June of this year, which was about financial aid and scholarships. Well, apart from the number of scholarships that you can target, whether it's academic, leadership, athletic, or artistic scholarships, there is a very interesting category called school nominated scholarships, where high achieving students can be nominated by their college counselor to go through further rounds of selection at certain universities. Now, in order to keep the process absolutely available to all, we wanted to make sure that these nominated scholarships are given to the most deserving students. And most of these scholarships, as you can see, are available in North American universities. In case you do come across a scholarship that is available in some other universities, please please also share with your college counselor. In order to be considered for these nomination-based scholarships, there is an initiative that we have launched, that is the Equitable Scholarship Initiative, which is a unique opportunity for you to be considered for these highly selective nomination-based scholarships. There is an application form that has already been shared with you. The application form, among other things, also asks you for a very important community essay. What is this community essay? How do you approach it? This is something that Mr. Forrester will be sharing with you in detail. The last date to apply for consideration is the 11th of September, and the nominations will be informed and released by the 20th of September. We really look forward to receiving your applications for all these prestigious scholarships. And so please listen in to what Mr. Forrester has to say about how do you take care of writing that community essay, because apart from the other things in your application, the community essay is going to be a big part of how do we holistically evaluate who should be nominated. Thank you so much for listening in. Over to Mr. Forrester.
So hello grade 12s. You're about to see a video that's going to take you through us explaining how to write something called a community essay. You can use it for a range of different essays or supplemental essays that you need to do. It can be used to help supplement some ideas that you want to add into your personal statement. It's good for everybody basically to use. So really do take some time thinking about how you're going to write this. Do take this seriously. You fill in the form that you shared. You will see a form that shows you where you upload your essay, which places that you want to be considered for nomination. You're going to be given some time at the end of this video for you to start planning your essay. Obviously finish your essay after this session because you need to make a good essay. This was a video that you're about to see made last year. And last year, this was before all of the things that were happening with Trump and Elon Musk. So it may, Elon Musk is mentioned in this video, and so you may not kind of agree with some of the things politically he's done, but it probably hasn't aged very well, this video, but the ideas still remain the same in terms of how you kind of like deliver a pitch. So just please remember that as you look through the Elon Musk method. So here we go, over to the video. Let's get into this. Here is the prompt. The prompt is, what have you done to make your school or your community a better place? And it's 350 words. You might think that's a very short amount of space to try to talk about this. But it's possible, and you will see with an example. I'll be going through an example and talking about how certain features have been used, and then give you a structure on how to go about this. But the recommended approach is to use a narrative style rather than a montage style. Okay, and all of those US applicants should actually know what I mean by that, because this was discussed when we talked about your Common App essay approach as well with those two styles. So we're going to look at something called the Elon Musk exercise. It's an exercise that's created based on an article about a pitch that Elon Musk made for something called the Tesla Powerwall. Now, you might wonder, what is the Powerwall? It doesn't really matter what it is. It's just basically a better, more eco-friendly battery. But here was the gist of the Musk's pitch. Musk's delivery, let's face it, isn't always stellar. He's quite self-conscious at times and very fidgety, and there's a lot of umming and erring. His presentation skills could improve. Yet by the end of his pitch, and quite a lot of the things that he does, you always get a lot of intake, a lot of buy-in and engagement. And so at the end of this particular pitch, his audience was cheering for a battery. This is because Musk does 5 things right that you should emulate in every pitch that you ever make to anyone. And you should do them in this order. Number 1, name the enemy or the issue or problem. Number 2, answer why now. Why is it important now? Why should we care right at this instant? Number 3, show the promised land, the ideal solution, before explaining how you are going to get there. Number 4, identify obstacles. Then explain how you'll overcome them. So what are the things that make the barriers happen in order to get the solution? What are you going to do about that? How easily can you do that? And then number 5, present evidence as you're going that you're not just blowing hot air or making stuff up. Creates more of an authoritative kind of statement behind what you're saying that you're going to be able to do by adding those details. So, for the community essay, the Elon Musk strategy for pitching can be adapted. You can completely steal this idea for your extracurricular activity essay or your community essay. So this is how you would adapt that process to your essay on a community or volunteer project you might write about. First, identify the problem. Second, raise the stakes, perhaps answer the why now. Then articulate the vision, show the promised land before explaining how you got there. Describe what you did. Clarify your role. Why were or are you crucial to the success of that project or club or thing that you did in the community? And a key important bit at the end is to talk about the impact that you've had or lessons that you've learned or the values that you've gained. And that's the bit of insight, the personal insight we get from you as the writer. Remember, these UC questions are called personal insight questions. So let's look at step 1 a little bit more. Identify the problem. What would you do at this stage? You identify the issue or the challenge that may have existed in your school or community. And we'll look at an example later on where that is actually being used. Highlight the importance and the relevance of the problem. So it's not just clearly stating it, but why does it matter? Why is it important? Then we raise the stakes, trying to answer the why is it important now? You see a little mountain there, you're kind of like raising the stakes, you're trying to get over the problem. Explain why addressing the problem is crucial. So you get buy-in that way. Then you articulate the vision. So you create excitement and inspire the audience, trying to engage them even further. How do you do this? Well, you paint a clear picture of the desired outcome or promised land, the utopian solution to the issue that you've already identified. Isn't that a beautiful little utopia that you can see in the image? Then you're going to describe what you did, give some details, give examples. Share the specific actions that you took to try to address the problem. A step-by-step kind of bit or even a montage of elements of things that you've done, okay, just for this small section. Then you've got to clarify your role. You're placing yourself in the role of creating the solution inside the project or the club. Why was your contribution so crucial? So now we've got it as to what you are as the kind of the hero in the scenario. Hence the image. Then we want to look at the impact and the lessons learned. So you discuss any of those lessons or values that you gained from the experience, share the impact that you had on the project, and therefore later on the community itself, which is the overall goal or vision that you're trying to demonstrate based on the fact that it's a community essay. So here is our example. And you'll also have a handout on one A4 piece of paper Hi, it's me again. I'm just interrupting the dulcet tones of my own voice. All right. So your task, you've actually, you can see on the previous screen that there is an example of an essay. I would like you to look on your handouts, read through that essay itself, and look at all the annotations. Those annotations are basically identifying each of those steps that you've just had me go through on the essay. So please look through, see how the writer is actually achieving each of those steps as they've gone through. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to read through that, and then we'll go on to the task. So advisors, please allow the students to look at their handouts, get them to read the handouts, and then press play once they've all read the handout. Thanks. So, grade 12s, your task. Your task from the next slide, in a second, we'll ask the advisors to pause the video so you can see the next slide. You are to read the key points and structure for the essay. Look at the handouts on the essay again if you need, and start to draft your essay. So here is the chart and structure. And this is the bit, when I finish talking, we are going to pause to help you start your task. And you'll have until the end of the advisory session to put down as much as you can. First of all, you get a blank sheet of paper and turn it horizontally and create these columns. The problem, these are the steps. Each step is going into a column. The problem or challenge. Raising the stakes, why now? Promised land, your vision or our vision. What I or we did, the specific role that you were in, and the impact or lessons or values. So then you fill in the chart. Turn the paper vertically and notice, voila, these 6 columns can now exist as 6 paragraphs for your piece of writing. So that's what we're going to do now. You're going to make this column, this chart, start writing in notes or straight into full-blown writing if you flip it immediately. Either way, plan first, get writing, whichever works for you. Realistically, you'll only get a start on your planning. So you're going to make a start on your planning. You're going to carry on with this task after advisory, and then you're going to upload it into that form that we talked about. Please pause now so then students can see the chart as they write. Good luck, grade 12. Pause, please. Please pause.